I think everybody loves sharing their fun journey. So I like to start with the fact that I started out researching monkeys. I thought that by this point, I thought I'd be living in the jungles of Borneo by this point in my life. So naturally, I took all of the understanding of monkeys and just applied them to corporate business people. It was a perfect transition to get me to where I am today.
That's an amazing. I wasn't expecting that from you.
And one day, some of the senior folks came to me and said, "How would you like to work in HR?" And I said, "What's that?" Literally, I think that's what I said.
I think most people do end up saying that. It's funny.
I'm like, okay, and well, basically what you've been doing, Dave. I'm like, okay, well, that's good.
Asked, I think at school, what do you want to do when you get older? I definitely don't think that learning and development director, probably more football or a pilot, definitely kind of fell into what I do. I think is probably the honest answer.
I think like many in HR, I'm kind of an accidental tourist. In that I never plotted out. I never plotted out to be on this journey. I didn't even know HR was something you could study at university when I went to university. So that's how.
Was it called people relations or something like that?
Probably personnel management.
And presenting training material. And at the end of the class, when we wrapped up, the person who was running the workshop said, "I think you should do this for a living." And I kind of have one of those moments where you think, I didn't even know this was something you could do for a living.
It's funny because out of the 100 guests I've interviewed, I think maybe 2 or 3 planned to work in HR, right? Which is a big shock to me, if I'm honest. And many of them, like you, didn't even know what it was.
I didn't start out my career wanting to be a human resources professional. I thought I wanted to be a lot of things before I figured out that between psychology and human interaction and sociology and business, that the best combination of that took the form of human resources. And I've been either working in human resources or acquisitions and mergers ever since.
Like many of your listeners, I kind of fell into HR. I didn't start in HR. I think it's funny how we all seem to have that same story and journey. But I got my undergraduate degree in finance, and to be quite honest, at the time, I really didn't know what HR was. I think I had one HR class in college. It was the most dry, boring class. I didn't even understand what HR was about. Through kind of my evolution, I was married to someone in the Air Force, and so we moved every 2 years, and I had to constantly reinvent myself everywhere that we went. But I got really lucky in that because I was able to find different jobs in different industries and finally found this thing called HR that I started really, really liking.
I was in love with analytics. I was not really in love with people analytics. Until one day, I actually got recruited and convinced to go to the HR side. Once I got into it, it actually became one of the best decisions of my life because the HR space allowed me to really do something that was very much in line with my purpose. What I felt was actually something fulfilling with me in the analytics space, but also in my personal space, doing something that I could see the impact people's life on a day-to-day.
The journey actually started quite differently. I'm an engineer by training. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. Yeah, I'm a bit of an oddity. When people see what my background is, they always ask me, how in the hell did you get into human resources? And I always tell people, as much as I'd like to say that I had a plan and that it was well thought out and I was strategic about managing my career, I like to say that I really stumbled into HR.
So I'm one of those people who fell into HR by accident, I guess.
One of everyone.
Exactly, right? So, well, do you know what? I don't think as much nowadays. I meet loads of kids today who say, when I grow up, I want to be in HR.
Oh, that's because it's a new generation. But the
right. That was not a thing when I was at school. Whenever they sat you down in the grammar school in Northern Ireland and went, you can be a solicitor, a vet, a doctor, or a journalist, pick one. Like that was your options right there.
Yeah.
It was not planned. Whenever we talk about career path and, you should think about 10 years ahead. All my life, it was more opportunity.
How does a chemist end up in HR?
Exactly.
That's going to be the title of my episode for this.